Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel, and today I am filming another installment in this little series of videos that I am filming on my channel at the moment, where I focus on one country and one country only, and that nation's entries at the Eurovision Song Contest over the past decade, 2015 to 2025. And today I am going to be turning my attention to Ireland. That is because several weeks ago now I put a poll up on my community page here on YouTube asking which nation's entries over the past decade you'd like me to talk about next, and Ireland topped that poll. And shortly after this video you're watching now goes live, I will be putting another poll up on my community page here on YouTube, and you can cast your votes once again. There will be one or two more videos like this over the next couple of weeks, and then it really will be focusing more on 2026 related Eurovision news on my channel. I should also take this opportunity to say that I will be filming the 10 great national final songs of the season video very soon. It is very delayed, of course, and perhaps quite irrelevant by now, but I have decided the 10 songs that I'll be talking about in that video, and you can expect to see it on my channel in due course. As always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So Ireland, 7 times winners of the Eurovision Song Contest, but not since 1996. Once upon a time, they were kings of the ESC. Their track record in the 90s was really quite sensational, and I'm not sure any country moving forwards will ever match it. Winners in 1992, 1993, 1994, 1996, runners-up in 1997, absolutely extraordinary. They could do no wrong. But moving into the 21st century, around the time that the UK's form started to falter, Ireland's form also started to slip a little bit, and over the past 10, 15, 20 years they have struggled more often than not, but occasionally they will have a bit of a gem of an entry at the Eurovision Song Contest, and they'll do all right for themselves. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the Late Late Show national final format has been pretty stinky for a number of years. The quality certainly hasn't always been that high, but over the past 2 years I think there's been a little bit of a more positive shift, and the quality of music that we're getting, okay, we don't get too many songs every year, but I think the quality is slowly but surely improving, and I have high hopes for 2026. Anyway, let's roll back the years now to 2015 and an absolutely terrific underrated gem. Now, something I need to do is load up a document here. Back in Vienna, of course, we'll be heading to Vienna again for a third time in the Eurovision Song Contest's history next spring. We had Molly Sterling represent Ireland a decade ago, and she performed Playing with Numbers. Now, at the time, I don't remember this song getting any sort of attention whatsoever, but it really is a very beautiful tune indeed, very simply executed. She's sitting there dressed in black behind a piano. She's got a couple of backing musicians off to one side. There's a sort of sunlight coming through the trees in a wood scene on the backdrop. You'll know what I'm on about if you've seen the performance, of course. It was on early in the running order in the second semi-final that year, and as I just said, I don't think there really was a great deal of attention going this song's way. However, I think over the past few years I've just liked it more and more every time I've listened to it again. I don't think it stands out too much in the grand scheme of things, but it's just a real breath of fresh air. I think maybe had this been on a bit later in the running order, it could have stood out a bit more. I don't know. There just wasn't any real hype surrounding this track. For the record, Playing with Numbers is my number 11 of the 2015 competition. Molly Sterling is 27 now, so she was really young at the time. She's from County Tipperary. She hasn't released any music in a number of years. She did have a great song called Ghost in My Bedroom, which doesn't seem to be available anywhere on the internet now, which is a real shame. And I don't really know what she's doing these days. I think she's turned her back on music a bit, but I could be wrong. And I want to say that she's some sort of activist now. I really don't know. I think she dyed her hair blue at one stage. I can't quite recall. But anyway, Molly Sterling, yes, she's released one EP and a couple of singles. Playing with Numbers didn't even really garner much attention in her homeland, which is a real shame. It charted at number 77. Self-described as a song that takes the perspective of one who took risks that they really believed would pay off, and later reflecting on the consequences of that gamble that went wrong in life or love. It was co-written by Greg French, who is a member of the group The Brilliant Things. Critical response of the song was positive, especially from local Irish media. But it seems as though the Irish public just didn't really get on board with this too much. Yes, it says here the background resembled a forest. So there you go. In reaction to her result, Molly Sterling stated no animosity at her non-qualification, stating, "I've had the time of my life. To be in the final would have been a bonus, but the Eurovision is a bit of a lottery, so you just never know how it's going to go. Representing my country has been a privilege, and I hope I did everyone proud." And I think she certainly did. A really sort of soft voice. I thought she was a bit nervous on the night, which is understandable, but I don't think that it was too bad at all. I thought it was a job well done, if I'm being honest with you. Now, if we take a look specifically at the results, Ireland finished 12th with 35 points in semi-final 2 a decade ago. Looking at the split results, Ireland was a qualifier with the juries. 7th place, 84 points, but second last with the public. There's a shocker. 16th out of 17 nations, 14 points. Only Switzerland below, playing with numbers. Moving on to 2016, and this is an ultra forgettable track right here. If you think Playing with Numbers is somewhat unmemorable, then I would say Sunlight by Nicky Byrne is arguably even worse. If I remember correctly, this was an internal selection for a change, and I believe this song was released very early on in the 2016 season. I want to say as early as September or October. I can't quite recall. Nicky Byrne, for the record, is a somewhat well-known musician, no doubt about it. He has had plenty of success in the past. If I just click on his name here, he is now 46 years of age. He's from Dublin and is best known as being a part of Westlife, who've released loads of albums, many of which have gone to #1. They've sold God knows how many copies of their singles and records over the years. Huge success in the UK. He was a contestant on the 10th series of Strictly Come Dancing. He's also been voted #2 on Ireland's Sexiest Man of 2014. He's also been the Irish spokesperson, and interestingly enough, in 2014, Ireland gave 12 points to Austria when he was the spokesperson, and this year he was the spokesperson for Ireland again when they again gave Austria 12 points. So what are the chances of that? He was a footballer in his youth in the late 1990s. He's released one solo album, also called Sunlight, but doesn't really appear to have done a great deal musically for a number of years. I think he presents a radio show in Ireland, but I could be wrong. He's also dabbled in TV presenting. This song, however, is so damn bland and so damn forgettable. He's on stage, group of musicians around him, there's a red colour scheme, he's got a jacket on, white shirt underneath, black trousers. He does move onto the secondary stage there in Stockholm at one point. Vocally okay, I guess, but really, this felt to me not hastily put together, but almost as if he sat in a room and just tried to generate the most basic sounding piece of pop imaginable. There was nothing truly dynamic about this one whatsoever. The non-qualification was not a surprise. He really deserved a better song. He wrote it with Ronan Hardiman and Wayne Hector, who has worked with Ollie Murs and One Direction apparently. This song was in the second semi-final, and as I just said, did not go through to the final in Stockholm. 15th place, 46 points. If we take a look at the split results, nobody was really going big for this one. 16th in the jury vote, 14th in the public vote, and it is my number 23 of the 2016 competition. We then move on to something a little bit different, something a little bit more low-key in Kyiv 2017, and this was Brendan Murray with Dying to Try. High-pitched vocals here, which I think put a lot of people off. Smoke machine, hot air balloon on stage, and not really a whole lot else going on. Dressed quite casually, black trousers, white top, white shirt. He's really going for it, feeling the song very much, holding on to the ropes of the hot air balloon. Yeah, I'm just looking at a short clip here on YouTube to remind myself of it. It's definitely not a performance that I've gone back to over the years. It's definitely not a song that I've really gravitated towards much either over the past several years. So Brendan Murray, who I think was on the UK's version of the X Factor, but I could be wrong. Let's take a look here. He is 28 from County Galway. He was on the X Factor here in the UK in 2018. He was the 12th contestant eliminated. Whilst he was on the X Factor, he performed songs by Radiohead, REM and ABBA. So how about that? He's still making music, but apparently not for a good few years. And he was in the Irish national selection in 2022 with Real Love, but he finished last with 12 points, apparently. This song, again, quite bland, quite forgettable. Trying to be quite emotionally charged, stirring stuff. It does build up to a somewhat satisfying conclusion, but on the whole, this didn't leave any sort of impression on the audience, and this is where the UK and several other countries have struggled in recent years. You know, you can see the countries that are in it to win it. You see it in their performances every year. You look at Sweden, you look at Italy a bit, you look at Ukraine. They're in it to win it. They want to do really, really well. Whereas some of these Irish entries, they're just so, you can give or take them. They're not really strong contenders whatsoever. And this song for me, again, quite forgettable. Second semi-final once more, 13th place, 86 points. Looking at the split results, he was 12th with the juries, 12th with the public. Okay, that's not bad, but it was 13th overall and an NQ. And for the record, Dying to Try is not a personal qualifier for me in 2017. It is my number 14 of the second semi-final looking at this. Yes. Anyway, let's move on now to a really great, solid effort. Okay, maybe playing it a bit safe, but I think they executed this one really nicely. I think this song garnered a huge amount of attention in the build-up to the grand final, and if I remember correctly, this was one of the favourites to win on the day of the 2018 final in Lisbon. This was Ryan O'Shaughnessy with Together. Absolutely splendid. Bit of an LGBTQ plus slant to proceedings here. We had the two male dancers sort of falling for each other on stage. You had the Narnia lamppost, the fake snow, Ryan there casually dressed, pretending to play the acoustic guitar. Really beautiful vocals. Really soft, really tender. You had the woman off to one side pretending to play the piano, a sort of starry scene behind them with the lighting. It was really, really nicely done. So Ryan O'Shaughnessy, let's take a look here. He was in the first semi-final, went through in 6th place with 179 points. He was on The Voice of Ireland and Britain's Got Talent, where he finished 5th. This is several years ago. He was also an actor on Fair City, which is a soap opera in Ireland, a long-running show. He was on it for 9 years, and then he ventured more into music. He is from County Dublin. He's 32, slightly older than me. What else does it say here? He also took part on a songwriting competition called The Hit. He co-wrote Fire by Railta, which was in this year's Irish selection, but it finished 5th out of 6 entries. He also appeared in the music video for IOU, which was Ireland's junior Eurovision entry several years ago. He's released 1 album, 1 EP, which charted at number 9 in the UK years before he did the Eurovision Song Contest. His other singles include No Name, Who Do You Love, Holding My Breath, and What You Got to Lose. So he's still making music. I really ought to check some of it out. This performance was just really beautiful, and I think a lot of people really resonated with it. It builds, but not too much. It's just got a lovely, simplistic melody. Everybody waving their lights in the audience. It looked beautiful. It sounded beautiful. A really, really top-notch job done here. He is related to Gary O'Shaughnessy, who sang for Ireland in 2001. That is his uncle. In the final, He performed 24th, finished 16th, 136 points. Taking a look at the split results in the final specifically, 14th with the juries, 16th with the public. I'm really glad the public did not dismiss this one, because sometimes we have ballads, slower type entries, and the public are just like, no thanks, 0 points, or very few points indeed. Thankfully, this one was not ignored, really. Quite remarkably, Ireland did slightly better than France in the public vote. That was Madame Monsieur. And that French entry was one of the favourites to win, no doubt about it. And then in the jury vote, he did better than the Czech Republic, he did better than Alexander Rybak, he did better than Italy. And Italy were third in the public vote. Absolutely extraordinary. Anyway, let's now move on. I should say that this entry, which has grown on me more and more over the past couple of years, together is my number 12 of the 2018 competition. In 2019, it was Sarah McTernan with 22 performing second in the second semi-final. So, what's going on here? Oh, here we go. Sort myself out. This was the Tel Aviv competition, of course, back then. Sarah McTernan, here we go. Beautiful woman. She is 31. She's from County Clare. She was on The Voice of Ireland once upon a time. And in 2018, she tried to represent San Marino in the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know if we've got any details about that song or whether she got really far. I can't quite remember. Anyway, she went to Eurovision and performed 22. And they went for a sort of American diner pop art looking performance here. You had the countertop. She had dancers with her. You had a sort of bright comic strip thing going on the LED screen. The song, according to McTernan, is about a woman struggling to move on from her ex. The number 22 talks about her ex's house number, as the singer speaks about driving by their house and wanting to get back with her ex as she feels empty inside. While some have thought the song was about a crazed stalker, I never had that feeling myself, McTernan claims that the song is about her first love. The head of delegation said that the song was meant for a male singer, and it was written by a Dutch team for some reason, so maybe it was definitely meant for somebody else. Anyway, let me just remind myself of the performance here. Yeah, very bright, quite colourful. It just came across as quite flat live. Vocally, maybe a little bit shaky. She's in this sort of deep red dress. She's got dancers in pink outfits next to her. They've got sundaes on the countertop behind them. It's all very sweet, very twee. It's just lacking a little bit of punch, I suppose. And for a song like this, which is quite jaunty and happy-go-lucky, it just needed a sprinkling of magic, and unfortunately we didn't really get that. Nevertheless, a real shame that the votes did not pour in. 22 is my number 15 of the 2019 competition. And if we take a look at the split results, she was last in the second semi-final, which isn't really a shock at all, to be honest with you. 18th place, 16 points. Looking at the split results here, last with the juries, second last with the public. Only Austria with 0 below Sarah McTernan that particular year. Moving on to 2020. Now, this is a bit of a cracker, if I say so myself. This is Leslie Roy with Story of My Life. Now, of course, the 2020 competition was cancelled. Ireland went for a sort of pop rock type entry. Reminded me very much at the time of the early music of Avril Lavigne, that sort of thing, packing a little bit of sass. Leslie Roy is 38, from Dublin. She's released one album back in 2008. So not far off 20 years since her only album to date. She's released a couple of singles. Story of My Life apparently did not even chart in Ireland. She co-wrote it with a couple of other people. The music video is quite fun. Obviously, we've no idea how well this would have fared at Eurovision. Would it have made the final? I don't know. Had the competition gone ahead, she would have performed 7th in the first semi-final, sandwiched between the Roop for Lithuania and Little Big for Russia, which makes me think that maybe she wouldn't have made the cut. But this is a perfectly fine entry, catchy, engaging enough, maybe playing it a bit too safe. You know, the melody isn't doing anything truly groundbreaking. Lyrically, it's maybe not that sensational either, but it's a really nice track, in my opinion, and it is my number 10 of the 2020 competition. She came back a year later with Maps, which is my number 6 of the Rotterdam competition. Now, I have to admit, I have not listened to this song a great deal over the past few years, but I do still really like it. The issue here was that the staging didn't quite come together in the way it should have done. There was a lot of close-up angles. She was sort of interacting with all of these props and things on the screen behind her, and then the camera panned out in the final third and you could see all of this equipment on stage, and then she dashed onto the secondary stage and she was trying to get the crowd a little bit more G'd up, if you see what I mean, and it just didn't quite work. Vocally, maybe not quite on the money either. I think she was out of breath as this song progressed. But I'm just looking at a bit of a recap here, sort of this very dark green outfit that she was wearing, the blonde hair, and it does look quite cool. I was quite impressed with this at the time, but there's also something a little bit awkward about the way that it's coming across. It doesn't quite work, and I'm not saying that's why this song failed to qualify, but I think it played a big part in this song not making the cut that year. If we take a look at the results, 16th, last in the first semi-final that year with 20 points, a real shame. 15th with the juries, 15th with the public, only Australia below Leslie Roy that year. Last overall. I have nothing else really to say about it. It's got a bit of momentum, and it's quite an intriguing performance. You're watching it because the staging is so innovative, I guess, in a way, and yet it just didn't quite reach top gear, if you see what I mean. Moving on to 2022 now, trying to get through this at a good pace. This was the Turin competition. We had a national final, and the winner of that national final for Ireland that year was Brooke with the song That's Rich. And this is a pretty good performance and a pretty good entry overall. I think it gained a bit of momentum going into the second semi-final that year, and a real shame that this didn't make the final. We had a lot of pyro, we had a lot of flashing lights. She's there in a blue outfit, and she's sort of got this cape thing going on as well. Backing dancers dressed in white, a love heart pulsing on the screen behind her here. Some simple dance moves. The crowd are really loving it as well. Lyrics appearing on the screen too. Pink lighting. A good time, no doubt about it. She co-wrote this song. Brooke is from County Londonderry in Northern Ireland. She finished 3rd on Series 9 of The Voice UK, where she performed songs by Adele and Mark Ronson and Miley Cyrus. She was also on the 6th series of Dancing with the Stars in Ireland, and she finished as the runner-up. She also works as a personal assistant to an estate agent, apparently, although that might have been a few years ago. She's released one EP. She released a single last year called Love Bomb. I can see her trying again in the near future to represent Ireland, in all honesty. I think she was very unlucky not to go through in Turin. I think the crowd really did respond warmly to this one. I think the national final performance was really quite sloppy. And this is what I mean by the Late Late Show not being the best platform for any musician in a national final. At Eurovision, it was elevated a great deal. I think it came across positively, and I think she did a really good job. And I think a lot of other people would probably agree with me. This finished 15th in semi-final 2 in Turin with 47 points. Looking at the split results, Ireland was 16th with the juries, 11th with the public, so she wouldn't have gone through even if it had been a 100% public vote. Looking at my ranking, That's Rich. It's a really catchy, fun slice of pop. It's my number 10 of the 2022 competition. We now move on to Liverpool 2023, and this song was in the first semi-final. It's Wild Youth with We Are One, and this song is Ireland going back to Bland, Bland Mush. Jurgon Elofsson co-wrote this with Conor O'Donoghue and Edward Porter. Wild Youth are an all-male group from Dublin. They're still making music. Band member David Whelan was apparently on the 7th season of Ireland's version of Dancing with the Stars in December 2023, and so on. They've released 2 EPs. and several singles, including Can't Move On and Making Me Dance, but they've not had a top 40 hit in Ireland, which is, I don't know, maybe a bit disappointing. Yes, they've been making music for nearly a decade. This song, oh, man, it's just so generic. It's so lackluster. The lead singer in this gold outfit, and I don't think it's a terribly flattering look, in all honesty. You've got the other members of the group on stage, of course. The drummer's having the time of his life, pretending to play the drum kit there. You've got gold lighting, blue lighting. It's not bad. I think vocally, I'm always touching on the vocals here, but I think vocally it wasn't brilliant, and I think a lot of the time he was just sort of trying to get the crowd to do most of the heavy lifting for him, if you see what I mean. You know, he's not really singing at times in this song, and I don't know, it is a bit of a crowd pleaser. It's got a slight arena rock style vibe to it, but it wasn't at all hitting top gear, and the result was no surprise. No juries to help him either, or them either. This song finished 12th in semi-final 1 with 10 points. 10 points, and it finished 12th in a semi-final. Goodness gracious me. In terms of my personal ranking, it's not a personal qualifier. It's my number 11 of semi-final 1 that year. Moving on to 2024, well, bend me over backwards and call me Seamus. We had something very, very different here, didn't we, in Malmo? This was Bambi Thug with Doomsday Blue, and this came up on the rails like you wouldn't believe. The darkest of dark horses, heavens above. This knocked people for 6. In the first semi-final, Bambi Thug went through in 3rd place, 124 points, and then in the final, performed 10th, 6th place, 278 big ones. Looking at the split result, 6th in the jury vote. Really impressive, because this is a visually arresting performance, and a lot of the more conservative jury members across Europe maybe would have watched this and would have been appalled at what the hell was going on. 6th in the public vote as well. Admittedly, there's a big gap between Ireland in 6th and Switzerland in 5th, and Switzerland, of course, went on to win. But this was just terrific. Bambi Thug, in this gothic attire, sort of screeching away. Screeching is the wrong word, but you know what I'm on about. You've got this sort of demonic man on stage with them as well. You've got the candles in a circle. It goes from being quite aggressive and, like I said, arresting sonically and visually at times to something a bit more tender, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was just so itself. It wasn't trying to be, you know, something it wasn't. It was very unique. It was very original, I would say, totally different for Ireland, and it really did very, very well for them. And I think a lot of people were very happy that Ireland were taking a bit more of a gamble. Doomsday Blue is an electro-metal song. It was met with a divided reaction amongst Irish society, becoming a polarising track between various political and social groups in Ireland. It was met with praise from numerous past Irish contestants and media personalities, and it was commercially successful. The song, written by a whole group of people, explosive and hard-hitting, but also sweet and soulful. They wanted the song to be genre-defying. The BBC's Mark Savage described the song about having one's potential overlooked and the marginalisation of the queer community. The song's lyrics feature numerous spells, including Avada Kedavra, which is the killing curse in Harry Potter, and blah, blah, blah. The music video as well, quite striking. There's a lot of information here about this track. Herman Kelly, leader of the far-right Irish Freedom Party, posted a tweet comparing Robinson, that's Bambi Thug's real name, to Dustin the Turkey, and calling the song woke nonsense, typical of the Irish establishment that celebrates Satanism. What a load of absolute BS coming out of that person's mouth. There was a mixed response to this song on various blogs. At Eurovision, Sergio Jaén was the staging director. There was smoke, a circle of candles. Robinson wore a black outfit adorned with antlers, and there was balletic choreography. Midway through the performance, They removed the black outfit, revealing an outfit inspired by the colours of the transgender flag. There's a whole bunch of other bits and pieces here as well. After Eurovision, Bambi Thug was not happy with the EBU. I don't even care anymore. So there you go. There you go. Bambi Thug, real name Bambi Ray Robinson, exactly 1 month younger than me, born on March the 6th, 1993 in County Cork. They've released 3 EPs, multiple singles, including Red Rum, this year. And they have ADHD. Apparently they live in East London. They're non-binary, and they practice neo-pagan witchcraft, including manifestation magic. So get your wands out. Anyway, there we go. Something wildly different for Ireland, and it really worked. And if I was to re-rank the 2024 songs now, I think this would be even higher. It is my number 17 of last year's event. Finally, 2025. So unfortunately, Ireland didn't really push on. And this year, in Basel, we had Emmy, who is Norwegian and has tried to represent Norway in the past. Emmy Christine Guttelsrud Christiansen, born in September 2000 in Sande. She performed Like a Party for the Irish, and the Irish national final was a shite show because we had Bobby Arlo, and that performance maybe wasn't bang on the money, and then you had Samantha Mumba, and had that song gone to Eurovision, Jesus Christ, that would have been a massive mistake. Thankfully, this one came out on top in the end, written by a whole group of Norwegian people. The song is an alternate reality for the Soviet dog Laika, where she survived in space instead of dying on the Sputnik 2 spacecraft. A mixed response from Irish and international media. It's fun, it's quirky, it's also a little bit too silly. This was in the second semi-final. Marvin Dietman was the staging director. Her brother was on stage with her alongside 4 female background dancers. They were all in silver clothing. Emmy was wearing a pleated skirt, silver boots, and a helmet-like hood. On the backdrop, neon-coloured marching dogs, a star constellation that forms the shape of Laika, and neon planets swirling on the screen behind her. She said on Instagram she was so sorry to Ireland at not qualifying. But had this been Norway's entry, I don't think it would have gone through either. Like I said a moment ago, fun, harmless, but ultimately just a bit too silly. This finished 13th in the second semi-final this year, 28 points. Not really a surprise. It was touch and go as to whether this was going to be a qualifier. In the end, I think people were just a little bit too uninterested in this one. In terms of my personal ranking, it is my number 12 of the second semi-final this year. Now, I am supposed to be doing a rough ranking, of course, so let's try and do that now. So 2015 can go there, 2016 can go there, 2017 can probably go there, 2018 up there, 2019 can go there, 2020, ooh, crikey, I'm going to put that there, and then do you know what, I might put 2021 there, 2022, this is going to be tough. It's a very rough ranking, I emphasise that point. This is not at all final. That's rich. I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that there. Actually, 2023 has to go all the way down here. I think 2024. That's going to go. Oh crikey! My word, this is tough. We'll leave 2024 for the moment. 2025, I might put there. So it's just Bambi Thug. It has grown on me a lot, that song, over the past couple of years. I'm looking at Leslie Roy. That's the one that's really both of her entries. Do you know what? I'm going to put them there. Right. Here we go then. Bottom to top. Brendan Murray is last, 2017. Then going up, 2016, Nicky Byrne. Wild Youth, 2023 are next. Then we've got... what's that all about? Oh, yes, that's this year then. Leica with Emmy Party. Then it's 2019, 2015, 2024, 2021, 2020, 2018, and Brooke with That's Rich is top of this list, 2022. But it's really interchangeable. I want to emphasise that point as well. A very rough ranking there. Usually I like Ireland's entries at Eurovision. Sometimes they have a few duds, but on the whole, I can vibe with what they're bringing to the table. And as I said at the start of this video, I've got high hopes for 2026. Let me know your thoughts on Ireland's entries from 2015 to 2025 and what you hope for from them in 2026. And I'll be back with another Eurovision related video in the near future. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.